Hello, hello. What's up, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in if you are. Today I'm going to go through kind of some things I've been learning and I've learned over the last 10 years or whatnot. Today's my 30th birthday, so it's kind of good to reminisce on some of the stuff I've learned over the last years and stuff I've been taking forward that I've taken forward through my 20s, and now I'll continue to take forward through my 30s, and just realizing that these things are principles that continue to benefit me. You know, when I learn them, when you learn certain things, you don't realize how important they are until you live with them and you work through them. So I've thought of 10 things, which I probably could think of hundreds more, but I think these 10 things have, looking back at the 20-year-old version of myself, these things would be the things I would tell myself. And I know people, if people are watching this video, they'll look at this and be like, well, 30 is not that old. You're right. 30 isn't old, but you got to use every opportunity you can to learn something from your past and kind of carry that forward to your future. Because if you just kind of move through life every day is mundane, and you don't take a second to stop and look and like, hey, what did I learn? What are the things that I learned through this time period? And what are the things I would tell myself? What are the things I'm going to look back in 10 years and be like, oh, I should have done those things, or these are the things I would do. And I think big milestones such as 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, or even some people do the halves, 35, 45. And then looking back at those 10 years, and then every year, every New Year's or on your birthday, looking back to last year and looking forward to the next year is kind of forward planning and backward learning. So the first thing I have on my list is something you don't think about when you're young because you don't see it, but it's appreciating the people in your life because they won't always be there. When you're younger, you think the people in your life are just going to be there for forever, especially if you haven't had anybody die or leave you. You just kind of just assume, oh, my grandma's always going to be there, my uncle's always going to be there, my parents are always going to be there. But as I grow older, I realize, and I can see my parents getting older. I lost my grandma last year, December, and she was my favorite person in the world. And looking back, I wish I could have spent one more day with her, one more time. I know when she was in the hospital, I did spend a lot of time with her, and I did everything I could. But still looking back at the times I did spend with her and the times I chose to do other stuff versus spending with her, I wish I could go back and change that. So looking forward for the next 10 years, it's hearing that, remembering that, and using that time, the time I have now, to spend with my parents, because they're not old, but they're also not young. So that'd be the first thing. The second thing is being yourself at all cost. This is something that took me a little longer to understand and get, but I realized that if you're not yourself, you're trying to be somebody else, and that means you're playing somebody else, and you're never going to be comfortable. My fiance says all the time, she looks at like some of the stuff I do, and she's like, how can you do that? And I just say, like, this is me, and I'm not going to go work somewhere and be somebody who I'm not. So I'm not going to do something at the start and then have to go through the rest of my working career being this thing that I'm not. So I think really understanding who you are and fitting in and sitting into the place that you are. When I was younger, I was easy to just do things that I didn't want to do, or say things just to fall along with the crowd. And it works, it gets you to places, it maybe puts you in situations, but if that's not you, you're not going to be comfortable there. So the sooner you can, the soonest possibility you can do it is be yourself, because you're going to feel the most comfortable, you're going to get the furthest, you're going to attract people who are like you, and that's going to help you in the grand scheme of things. The third thing, which especially when you're younger, and I think before life beats you down, which I'm still not quite there yet, but getting more realistic. but it's aiming high, because you got nothing to lose by aiming as high as you can possibly aim. In your 20s, you have nothing to lose at all. Like, you probably don't have a lot of money, you probably don't have a lot of assets, you probably don't have a lot of anything. And another thing is, you have a backstop, which is usually your parents. Most people have their parents who are willing to help them, watch out for them. Hey, Mom, I need to borrow some money. Mom, I need to come back a place to live. So if you have that when you're younger, aim high and shoot for something that, hey, maybe there's a potential for a risk, but you're really going for the reward when you're young. Because once you get saddled down with a mortgage and kids and all that good stuff, you're not going to have all of those opportunities. Which, again, I'm 30, I don't have any kids yet, which sucks, but we're working on it. But I'm still trying to aim high. And I think the older you get, you start to get realistic, and you start to say, oh, maybe I can't do that, maybe this, and the world bogs you down. So aiming high. That's all I gotta say. Number 4 is choosing your crowd. Especially for people who are living in the same place. If you grew up in this town and you stayed in this town, you went to college in this town, whatever. When you're younger, your friends and the people you spend a lot of time with are the people who are around you. The people who, they went to the same school as you, they played the same sport as you, they whatever, work the same place, whatever. But as you grow older, you realize that, and at least I realize that, is these people that are my friends, I love them, but sometimes we outgrow each other. And I have lost a lot of friends, or I don't hang out with them as much. But that's just a part of life. That's how life goes, right? And sometimes you catch back up with them. One of the good things that happened to me was I moved. And I moved from Canada, and I moved to America, and I did school here. But then after, I moved back home. So then all those friends I was just hanging out with all the time, they did their own separate things for a few years. I moved back home, then I came back. So when I came back, I was at the age where this is what I want to do, and I get to choose friends based on what I want to do with my life. The type of crowd I want to hang out with, I now get to choose that. So I was able to curate my friend group and hang out with people, and push to hang out with people and be with people that are kind of moving in the same direction as me and want to talk about the same stuff I want to talk about. I got my chin kind of doubly shaped. With that being said, as most people have heard, you are the accumulation of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I think being thoughtful about that, being thoughtful about the people you spend time with, and realizing that the older you get, your time becomes more valuable. You start to see that, and again, I'm not super old, but I also work in hospice, so I get to see this, right? I get to see this with older people telling these stories, and days get faster because you've had more of them. So when you're young, a day is 1% of your life. You know, sometimes when you're very young, a day is 1% of your life. As you go older, it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller portion of your life, and that makes them go faster. Maybe that makes sense, but you get it. And I think the people you spend your time with, choosing your crowd, is the best thing you can do, because they are the ones who are going to help push you. They're going to make or break you. So the next thing, which is number 5, is gratitude. And I made a video about gratitude and really appreciating where you're at, but so I'll just run through it quick. But you know, looking back 10 years ago to where I am right now, do I think I would be here? I don't know. I don't think so. I think life gives you twists and bumps and bruises and turns, and I think 20-year-old me looking at where I am right now would be happy and be grateful that I've made it this far, and I've done the things I needed to get to this position. So but being grateful. But even last year, the year before, and just being grateful for everything that we have in our lives that sometimes we take for granted, is important, because it's hard to go forward when you're not appreciative of what you have right now. So the next thing is habits. It's choosing good habits. So now I'm 30, when you get to this age, you start to see the drop-offs, and it starts to split, you know. The smokers, you see the smokers who've been smoking since they were in their 20s, and they look like now. What do their teeth look like? What does their skin look like? You see the people who work out and choose to work out daily and be active, and the people who choose to read, the people who continue to focus on knowledge and education after school. You see where they kind of get to. One second. You see, choosing good habits allow you to continue to grow. And if your habits are, and I'm not against drinking and going out, still do that, but my other habits kind of combat that. So working out, being active, being outside, still trying to play sports, which again, looking at this is something I'm looking forward to as well. I'm saying, okay, 40-year-old Shwayne will be happy if I continue to do these things. And some of the things I've kind of slowed down on, like playing sports, I continue to make excuses to not do them sometimes, and that's shitty. But looking at it now and saying, yo, if I don't continue to do that, I'm going to lose that. I had a conversation with somebody today, and she was a patient's daughter and a dietitian, just kind of talked about herself and her family, and she said, I'm a dietitian, and I realized that that I have some predispositions to a few things. So I've changed my life to do these things to make myself better. I've created these habits, always being outside and stuff like that, whereas my family hasn't, and I can see that. So it's picking what you want to do and choosing to do that and follow those habits. The next thing, which kind of goes along with the same one, and the next two things actually, is health. And it's really taking your health seriously. When you start to get a little older, you start to lose that metabolism that you had, where you can eat whatever you want, you can drink whatever you want, you can go out and not sleep. And it's choosing your health, because again, not to keep saying it, but I work in hospice, and you can see the people whose lives are just rough because they chose to do other things versus being healthy, trying to eat healthy. And again, you don't have to be perfect, but it's a daily battle and a daily wake up and grind and wake up and look at, hey, what can I do today to make myself a little better? And I think your health is huge, because and it's not always about living longer. It's not, hey, I'm gonna eat healthy to live longer, but it's you're eating healthy and you're working out, doing and choosing good habits, so that the older you get, you can continue to actually live. You don't have to be bedbound or be in a facility or any of that, because hey, I kept walking, I kept this up. And when you're younger, you don't feel like it's important. You think you're never gonna lose it, but there's a big difference between me at 20 and me at 30. So the next thing is hobbies. I think continuing to do hobbies. A lot of us, we kind of drop off of them, and as I was saying, like the sports, like I've kind of slowed down on playing sports because sometimes I hurt. But at the end of the day, that's just life, you know. I just need to stretch more. I need to figure out better habits around the sports, around doing these things. I need to plan better recovery. And today's my 30th birthday, so I had a conversation with somebody who's a little older, and I said, hey, what would you have done back when you were 30? Like, I'm asking you one thing, what would you tell me? And he said, kind of keeping up with it. He wishes he didn't go as hard while he was 30, so that he could last longer. So it's not about kind of the quantity, it's more about the quality. So choosing to be better during the times that you have, and doing better stuff so that you can last the whole marathon. You know, life is a marathon, not a race. And I think when you're 30 and then you're younger, you kind of think it is. You got to go. You got to work out super hard. But really, it's the stretch. You want to be able to work out forever, not just hard right now. The next thing, which is number 9, is investing. Investing is something we need to continue. Needs to be top of mind for your whole life. I think a lot of people kind of think, hey, my 401k is going to be good enough. It's not. I'm 30 and I see it every day. I see people who did not invest enough, who did not do the things they needed to do. And it's not just, let's just put this money and set it aside. It's being intentional about what you're doing, what you're investing in, the stuff that you're pushing, you're putting your money into, because this is your time. And as I get older, you realize that your time is the most valuable thing, and you're spending your time to get this thing we call money, currency. And often we fuck it off. We fuck it off buying a bunch of shit, which I do as well. But the goal is to use your time to get money to buy back your time, and buy your freedom. And I think too much of us think we have forever when we're young, and we don't think about the future as much as we should. And when we finally do start thinking about it, I'm not going to say it's too late, but you wish you had started earlier. So again, if I could go back 10 years, I would say, which I did a decent job, but I would say, hey, stay on top of it, because the earlier you do it, the better it is. And it's time times amount times yield. And you need to, the earlier you start, the less money you have to put in, because you have compounding interest on your side. So investing is as often and as early as you can, and as much will kind of make your life easier, especially at the end, where most of us young people don't think about it. But right now an assisted living is $10,000+ a month. So you got to think about that. If you have to go into assisted living for 3-4 years, what does that do? So being diligent with that. And then the last thing, which again, the older I get, the more I think this is the more important this becomes. And I think this is the thing that in life really shows the difference between the average and the people who overachieve. And it's something you got to continue to work on daily push at it, is discipline. And I think discipline it's hard. It's hard to be disciplined. It's hard to do this thing that you don't want to do. It's hard to look at something and say, oh, I'm gonna do this, even though it's hard, and even though nobody else is doing it, and it's just me, and I'm pushing it. I'm the one waking up early, and I'm the one lifting every day, and I'm the one reading these chapters, and I'm the one praying, and I'm the one just going above and beyond. So it's discipline. And I think, again, this year I'm gonna have some kind of core pushes for this year that I've maybe I've been dropping off on, to say. And I think discipline I've been dropping off on. I think I've been dropping off on my hobbies, and I think I've been dropping off on just pushing to eat healthier. And this year is those two things. But I think everything I said has to do with discipline, and it's doing stuff that you don't want to do. And if you do want to do them, maybe it's adding a little extra difficulty to it. So it's pushing yourself. And I think it's hard to eat healthy when everybody else is eating like crap. It's hard to not drink when everybody else is drinking. But it's not about being perfect, but it's about pushing yourself and being disciplined when you can. And maybe even saying that's not it. Maybe it's got to be. You just got to do it. Don't worry about how hard it is or easy it is. You're doing it. And so that's a mind shift I'm kind of working on right now, and really getting to a place where, I need to be more disciplined, because your body, as you age, is not going to bounce back. You're not going to get. It's harder to lose weight. It's harder to all of that. So discipline is my big one for being 30. So those are my 10 things I'll look back at, and the 10 things that I've learned from, and I'm going to continue to bring into my 40s, and really try to sharpen up these 10 things, because I think without them, your life kind of begins to crumble. And I don't know if you'll see it right away, but you will see it as time goes on. So thank you for watching my little video, and if you got this far, I appreciate you. Leave a comment, I think, give me a thumbs up, wish me happy birthday, big 30. So have a good day.